I saw a story about a girl not even 20 yet. She was bullied by some trolls just for being different. And as I read, I wondered how much further we'd be along if all society's bullies just disappeared and were gone. It's not okay to...
I know I said I was going to get to Mad Munchkin next time, but like a kid chasing after a quarter rolling across the floor, I got distracted. Lily Pete made a video, and in all honesty, I'm gonna skip that Josh Scorcher one. The call was recorded without Josh Scorcher's consent, but the only person who can make the privacy claim, well, besides Pete and Patches, is Josh. And you want to know how I feel about this whole thing? I want to read a line to you all from Kiwi Farms. This is from the Mecca, the center of the universe, of fuck Jerrydom. Ahem. I wonder why someone who doxed Josh's family and ran a 2-year smear campaign then tries to pretend it's not a year smear campaign would not respect Josh's right to privacy. And we'll get away with it because Josh's response will be the same from 2016. Today's recent events have made me change my stance on Josh. And it'll probably upset people, but fuck them. Now, this is gonna take some clarification to Josh fans who are gonna get super defensive as well as Josh. So you guys can understand why this is in fact more relevant than at first glance. I have it on good authority that Chad Muska is the one-stop shop, the golden child of Kiwi Farms all things Brony. Now some of you people in the audience will go, well, what about Vita? Yeah, Vita's the one who told me about that. So there you go. In most cases, in most places, merely existing is enough to have Kiwi Farms take your side over Pete's. What stuck out to me was this line here, the one about family, that supposedly Pete had a go at Josh's family, and then Josh just turned the other cheek. Now keep in mind, this is the same Josh Scorcher who cut off Vita for daring to try to put his Lightning Bliss video in Josh's chat while Josh had his admins call the whole affair slanderous without providing how or why. If you want to say that Josh is non-confrontational, then why did he go to Pete's chat in the first place? Which, as of this moment, there are 2 recordings of that unlisted on Pete's channel. I think the real truth of the matter is what I said before. Josh Scorcher is foolishly indecisive. I've compared him to Wan Shao from Romance of the Three Kingdoms, who had the wealth of the world and its insights and slowly squandered it because he felt he was too big to fail. Josh doesn't have to have my insights or Chad's or Vita's, but from what I've heard, in addition to all those, every time someone tries to bare bones straightforward advice, he has to be led by the nose kicking and screaming, all the while having a fucking breakdown. He's like that one friend that has all his teeth falling out, and when they're all gone, you feel bad, but the situation is richly of their own doing. It was something with the bare amount of functioning effort that Josh could have pancaked Pete, legit and, well, without breaking YouTube's terms of service. So I'll repeat it one more time. Hashtag fuck 'em. Oh, and before we get going, since Jerry fucked this up, with 0 seconds flat, Generation 5 spoilers. Believe it or not, there are some of us who haven't seen them yet.
This is a bit of an old one, but it's skirted by me in the wake of all the Toon Critic nonsense. You see, Generation 5 of MLP has been rumored about for several months, and with each new supposed leak, people get more and more panicked.
Considering the leak came out alongside the leaks from Season 8, Gen 4, which, if you wanted to find them by now, it's safe to say that you have them. This is, in all likelihood, concept art for Generation 5. Concept art is naturally subject to change. Jerry, however, for whatever reason, just refuses to believe it because, well, it came from 4chan. You know, like the fandom he hates and despises so much that everything from it has to be considerably false. And even when it's proven right, and if it's brought up again, he'll just take his video down instead of retracting this statement, which is part of the reasons why I'm putting this up, and my response, which will be staying up.
The usual fits over insignificant details like Twilight being an earth pony instead of a unicorn are to be expected, but then came the news that it was possible that Applejack could possibly be getting a black voice actress in the reboot.
Jerry, they're bringing back Applejack? Ugh. Well, at least the good news is that Applejack will be black. And we don't have to worry about her keeping that pesky element of honesty. Lord knows I've never had any use for it. And let's be honest, Jerry, neither of you.
I just said possibly twice. What is wrong with me? Naturally, this news was met with praise and celebration from many corners of the Brony fandom, and nowhere was that more apparent than on Equestria Daily, where the intelligent and critically discerning community there embraced this new idea with open arms and open minds, along with no, it was a shit show.
Wait, Equestria Daily is still around? So let me get this straight. Seth, aka Sethisto, has a laissez-faire attitude. When at all possible, with his comment section, whereas Jerry is a crazy social justice warrior, a control freak. Seth is a bit more loosey-goosey. It's served Equestria Daily for many years, which is why it's still around, and why Everfree Network, which was a more corporate alternative, died, 2 years ago? Now, don't get me wrong, EQD has always been slow to non-existent ability to grow and adapt. God be willing, if you ever wanted EQD to ever cover something controversial, well, let's just say that there seems to be a reason why there's so few places that you can go for Brony drama, that I don't have many rivals. Pete is trying to suggest one of the most drama-free websites in the world is in fact creating drama by allowing the fans to have freedom of expression, and how dare Seth not police his website like Jerry polices his YouTube channel. Let's carry on though.
Black AJ? Nope, forced diversity is not for me, thanks. Killing a blonde, freckled southern character for some political agenda is the last thing I want to see. Bye!
Okay, I can see where this is going. Alright, Pete, do you even know any southern black hillbillies? Hell, Jerry, do you even hang out with any kind of hillbilly? Literally the blackest guy that Pete hangs out with, aka Sketchy the Changeling, is whiter than, well, let's say Richard Spencer. He's basically Samuel Jackson from Django. I, on the other hand, am friends with Kichi FIM, who is a quarter from Tennessee, a quarter from Kentucky, a quarter from Alabama, and a quarter from Georgia. Don't make me explain it. She's so southern, you can literally hear a banjo when she talks. And if you're telling me that Hasbro is taking Family Horse and turning her into Kichi, well, I look forward to Kichi's sidekick Eric finally being made canon.
Oh boy, another magical adventure! Let's go!
I fear for the worst as soon as I read the dreaded buzzword diversity. It seems they're taking a page from Marvel's failed strategy book.
Tiffany Haddish is supposed to voice AJ, at least in the movie, but they want TV series VA to match the movie with similar voices. I think they also follow Star Wars' political agenda.
Nonsense. I like how this one person brings up how diversity is a failed Marvel plan. Didn't Black Panther recently gross $1 billion? Mate, you're fucking nuts.
Well, actually, Jerry, Black Panther is a movie about a black guy with a black nation. That's not really all that diverse. It's different. Also, I noticed that you're dodging going anywhere near Star Wars. Is it because you agree about it, Jerry? It's kind of strange that someone so die-fucking hard about Star Wars did everything in their ability not to touch it. Huh. I gotta respect that, Jerry. That no matter how much of a crazy SJW that you are, you couldn't find it in yourself to put over the absolute garbage fire that was The Last Jedi.
People are under the impression that a black voice actress means that Applejack is going to show up in the next generation of MLP sounding like Flying Princess Ponyhead or Amethyst, two characters who don't have black voice actresses themselves and are doing a really bad impression of what they think a southern drawl is.
Now, I can't speak for Steven Tumblrverse, but Princess Ponyhead is a wigger. A wigger, assuming that they still have those, is that white kid who thinks he's black. Think weeaboo kids, except, with black people. I did see that Eminem is still around, in his 40s now that I think. He's also angry because Drumpf won't reply to him. But back on topic, Princess Ponyhead from Starverses is exactly what she's supposed to be. That annoying best friend of a girl who's always there giving you a hard time. I'd call her Pastel Prose, who's actually more legit black, at least in part, so yeah.
Fears are unfounded. Not to say that Applejack having a city accent would be a bad thing. I mean, if you're that concerned about Applejack having a thick and distracting accent, maybe you should look at the one she already has. And by the way, fuck you. Applejack with a thick urban accent would be awesome. You people have no fucking taste. And don't get me started on the twats going on about erasing a character for forced diversity.
Well, Jerry, people have a right to their opinion, and they're allowed to be wrong. Hell, instead of calling people wrong back in the day, we just used to call them Applejack fans. Hell, what do you think Digibros sucked so bad? And also, why do you think he had to figure out analysis? Basically, if he had to cover things by taste, no one would watch his shit.
There have been jokes about her being a background pony since season 1, so I doubt they experienced some kind of epiphany and stopped being paint-huffing morons. They're bitching about Applejack being changed, but it's a fucking reboot. Change is the name of the game. If you reboot something and keep all the characters exactly the same as they were in the last one, what's the fucking point of rebooting? You can clearly see by all the whining about S-Jews and forced diversity that this is little more than alt-right fuckheads just veiling their racism behind the usual buzzwords because racists think everyone is as stupid as they are and will still fall for that.
I actually would prefer Applejack with a big old gold tooth in her mouth holding up a 40. So basically, Applejack crossed with DWK. Maybe she can even hold a squirt gun sideways. Maybe we could give Applebloom a weave. So yeah, why don't we just get Tara Strong to reprise her foxy brown voice from Drawn Together and slap it on old AJ. Maybe instead of being an apple farmer that she can, farm grapes so when cider season comes around she can just give out grape drink.
Pink Rose was hammering this forced diversity drum when people suggested that MLP have gay characters, and she was just as stupid then as you are now. Don't worry, bronies. This isn't a sinister plot to destroy you. The futures of straight white men everywhere are safe and secure.
Jerry, you pretentious ass. You're at least 2 of those things. Josh, if you're watching, I'll start feeling sorry for you when you start protecting your own right and you stop being this cunt's punching bag. So I was watching Another Pedophile Rises and tries to echo an enabling nonsense over on Lily Pete's channel. I saw this video, at least at first, as a net positive. Now hold on, I'm seeing some hands in the audience, there are some scowls, and I think I see at least one spit take. So allow me to explain. When I covered this topic, I got about 8,000 views. Thank you to everyone who shared and liked How Not to Brony 69. The number is just a number. I didn't save this topic so I could have How Not to Brony 69 covering this very delicate topic. I literally got this out within 1 day of finding out about it. The release date for that video was March 8th, 2018. Pete's video came out March 17th, 2018. Pete's video did 14,700 views. Let's assume the worst case scenario that all of the 8,000 views who saw the video on my channel then watched it on Pete's. That would mean a very important message reached 6,000 more people. Obviously, there's word of mouth. I'm sure some of those views are the same people, and I'm willing to bet the number of new people reached at least double. I think we as a fandom, by and large, can agree that pedophiles are a bad thing, and everybody, no matter what our political stances are, deserve to know about these things, so that we can alert our fans, so they can make their friends and their loved ones more well-informed. Because in situations like these, being forewarned is being forearmed. And I'm reluctant to take the piss out of someone who helped raise awareness on Performance Major. As of now, I don't see a video on, say, Silverquill's channel or Josh Scorcher's or Dr. Wolf's raising awareness on a dangerous pedophile. In fact, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, you won't find that on their DeviantArt journals, their Twitter, their Tumblr, or any other means of social media. Now, if you're in the audience and your responses, well, FNGR, Silverquill, Dr. Wolf, and Josh Scorcher aren't obligated to plug you, much less Pete's videos, and I agree, why then could they have not made their own statements of their own? I mean, they didn't have to, and this is why I'm kind of softballing Pete on this one. Several thousands of people know about a dangerous pedophile because of Lily. Several thousand people more don't know about a pedophile because Mo, Larry, and Curly here did nothing. Again, nothing is a bit strong. Yes, I can understand none of these people had anything to do with this case. But a lot of people trust and look up to Dr. Wolf, Josh Scorcher, and Silverquill. If anyone could tell me the downside of them speaking up in this circumstance, I'm all ears. But let's not entirely let Pete off the hook. I'm going to play a clip here, a clip from Pete's video that has been removed from YouTube. I do not condone or endorse this course of action. I'm strictly playing this audio for educational reasons.
Personally, I'm done giving Josh and the rest of the community the benefit of the doubt, and if he has to be brute forced into getting off his lazy ass, then so be it. So, In the description, you'll find a link to the most recent episode of Brony D&D. Considering the circumstances, it's advised that you report the video for hateful and abusive content.
And rebuttal. Now, keep in mind, the video Pete is referring to actually was up on Dr. Wolf's channel. Now, if I, as a Catholic, tried to tell you a D&D video constituted hate speech, I'm sure as soon as you were done laughing at me, you would tell me to shut the hell up. And rightfully so. I may have an intense, fiery hatred for Dr. Wolf, with the heat of a dying sun. Now, I don't know if that metaphor works here, but tactically, there's nothing that YouTube could have looked at upon review of that video and sustained a community guideline strike. That is why it's called a false flag. A flag upon review that once reviewed would be removed. That is the exact opposite of what happened to Pete. Pete, because like Zane Russell, both of these gentlemen, Pete and Russell, both objected to Josh uploading old podcasts that featured Toon Critic. But in Pete's case, he had even less ability to affect the situation. We covered this back in How Not to Brony 68. Pete knowingly instructed their fans to flag a video not based off of YouTube's guidelines, but on what they felt morally right, i.e. how they felt. This is right in line with Performance Major's stance, because of what my feelings are, i.e. I'm right. I want to be clear, I'm not calling Pete a pedo. In response to Pete's video, the problem isn't the Brony fandom, it's the Tumblr part of the Brony fandom that are willing to put their feelings above everyone else's. Somehow, someway, Pete tried to lump in Ink Rose, Josh Scorcher with the Richard Spencers of the world, that somehow, someway, tried to say this condones pedophilia. If Josh and Ink Rose were as stuffy and as conservative as Pete is making them out to be, they would be calling for Performance Major to be swinging from a tree right now. The kind of people who tolerate pedos are the kind of people who are called the LGBTP community.
Bringing up the cowardly suicide of Mark Salling, who was avoiding the consequences of possessing child pornography.
This is a liberal agenda. Liberals watch Glee Lily. If Performance Major was talking about Duck Dynasty or NASCAR, you'd be able to attempt this in with this guy on the right. He is not. He is one of your guys. I don't mean he's one of your friends or even one of your patrons. I mean he's one of the people who has the Tumblr feels mentality, the block first mentality. Don't believe me? Here's a no pedo bashing sign.
Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets!
Dead center next to a Black Lives Matter and a pro-Antifa crowd. You don't see this crap at far-right rallies. You know what, I'm being way off track here. It's one thing if you want to bitch about Josh being a wimp, but when you talk about his upbringing as some kind of aggressive subculture that threatens you and your way of life, you really are talking out both sides of your ass. Though I can see why all your Tumblr fans feel fine hating on Josh and not me. I wouldn't stand for that bullshit. I'm not saying you can't hate Josh, but I want you to understand you're likely taking the piss out of a wimp who can't even stand on his own 2 feet, and he has more in common with Pete fans than me. Thank you. Fuck you. Bye.